but you can't tell there's an alien in there because they look like a human. So that's one of the gifts I have for humanity is I can see them because I'm not here. I'm a multidimensional being. I'm from source directly. And this is not a statement of ego. It's just, this is natural for all of us to be able to be either independently living in singularity, creating in the universe, or in my case, I'm a transient that time jumps, space jumps, whatever word you like, and I get to observe the cutting and pasting of time, and now I'm actually able to go to that space right now. So I can actually go to that factory right now. That's how the knowing works when we do the traveling. Okay, so concurrently, there are some other services that we're doing here related to the Q-Post, and I'll explain those too. I'll briefly talk about some more of the tortures real quick to show you how far they will go. The Darks love the wood chippers. They literally take several people alive and they put them in wood chippers and they get the slurry they want to make the most demonic being they can with the human being. And what we're seeing now is a race to the end of the 2,000-year cycle. So at the beginning of this 2,000 years, these individuals weren't so prominent, although there was dark individuals here 2,000 years ago. But now there's a lot more of us. And by the way, notice how strong the propaganda is about me. Mm-hmm. So they've done a good job because they know I'm going to show up again. And they know there's going to be other people like Ron and Princess Diana and other light beings from Source. They know we're going to show up. They don't know when. But they know you're going to get us. We're going to get our feet underneath us. And so the race is to not only the confusion of what you are, but the race is to genetically modify you. You're just going to start connecting the dots, genetically modify you throughout your life. So when you get to the end of the 2,000 years, on the other side we are here. And it's what I'm doing my best to convey is these tortures all have a real reason to them. There's a process here for suppressing the light body getting into the physical body. So that's the Cliff Notes version. It's what I've experienced in the underworld. By no means does the underworld have anything to do with the most incredible place on this planet is the Hollow Earth people. They consider that the surface, the underworld people, and can't believe it either. So the magnificent Hollow Earth people, when I originally came to this planet, the standard is it okay if we participate with you? And to meet Billy's father and get his permission and blessing to participate many, many, many eons ago, many generations of humans ago, was a great, great honor. And that's what we usually do as a collective, all of us, when we go to, let's say, a new planet, much like Star Trek, is, hey, I was wondering what it's like to be a purple people eater. Come on and be one. Come on, we want you. No, we don't. No, we don't want you here. We've got enough people here, whatever it is. Okay, that's a little comedy because it's been a little dark here, but that's basically what we do when we go to other dimensions and other planets. It's a great honor to be in physicality, though. To have the tactile capabilities in the third and fourth dimension is a brilliant show of how massively awesome we are. Just to breathe, get up in the morning is an incredible experience. I'm going to continue with the CIA torture chambers because they marry well with the dark. And there's so much dark over on some of these silos of these agencies that it's hard to distinguish the good from the bad. And as you can tell, my MK Ultra settlement check hasn't come, so that's why I want everyone to know about this. My MyLab, by the way, if you know the name of the programs, you don't know the name of the programs. That's how good they are. So if you think there's such thing as that MK Ultra, you've been duped. Okay, they're all covers, because at the end of the day, just like Paul Hellyer was doing his best to tell everybody, aliens are running your governance of you, because they're also have a process control industry of genetic modification. Why do you think the medical industry is so massive? In the event, because Q is misbehaving at every turn, we're going to do something. We at the same time, they get a lot of bang for the buck to watch. Just watching the light come into my physical body, and almost all of us. So the ability to take me from one body to another because they have a genetic match or a Merkaba match doesn't really matter. So one of their favorite torture chambers is for at least me, it's like a cement. It's like a cement coffin. So I don't have on the tip of my head that technology came from a planet that's pretty common to most people. I'll get it back here in a minute. But the spirit is put into basically a cement block, and then a frequency band is put around the cement block. And so they put me in there. It's probably around 50 years. So what's interesting, so you're still alive, but you're in so some of that stuff in Star Wars is correct. You can freeze a spirit in a physical body, keep it alive, and you can freeze a spirit and put it in a physical body and keep it alive. So they were able to put me in another vessel, so to speak, and hold me there until I became a good boy. Now, in this case, I was rescued, but it's okay. That's how it worked. All right. So we're starting to give up on Q. This is the short version. There's many things going on here that I'd like to go into, but I want to be respectful of the time here. We only have about an hour left, and we've got a lot more to talk about. The opportunity now is, okay, let's get him out of here. He's not in the program anymore. We're gonna get him back to the right age, so to speak. We give up. No, we don't. We're just going to watch him for the rest of his life. The final implant put on me was a soul overlay, and I have talked about this a couple shows. So forgive the redundancy for the legacy people. The soul overlay works like this. Basically, if you take a satellite dish and you bounce it off a satellite, or you're starting to see some of it be pretty common when you look at Scalar and other technologies. You can send a signal into a brain, and it can be recognized as memories. It can be recognized as future desire. They take the cube. Stuart Swerdlow probably does the best to explain it. They take the cube of your brain and they put what you believe you experienced and or what you should be doing. And in any event, what happened eventually, as I became a father and married, normal life, that I'm being tricked into this normal life because the implants worked very good, by the way. And so I don't know who I am at this subsection of my life, midsection after I get out of the tortures. And I take on this normal life. And what occurred is they're basically steering me to fit into the population. And one day, these are all special forces guys. When I say they saved me, they did. The special forces know this is going on. And one day, they hacked the satellite to skull technology and started talking to me through my head. And that person was murdered almost instantly, killed because he obviously went around their security system and informed me what was going on. And of course, I don't have all my memories back yet, and I just stopped right then and there. And that I will fill in some dates in the future, but it's not important, the dates right now. What occurred then and there was recognizing how frequency and the spirit comes into the physical body because of what the individual told me. And he had to do it really quick. And almost everybody that interacts with me gets hassled. the Special Forces people, my dear friend Max Steele, who took the last implant out of me, he was murdered as well. And they did it while I was on the phone with them. And that's their little calling card for me not to tell you this information today. And as you can see, I don't care, because I know I was here 2,000 years ago with you, and I'm going to never let you go through this alone. I will never let you go through this alone. I will always be here with you. We are marvelous, and we deserve everything, and we're going to get it. So that is my encouragement for everyone as I keep going here. The beauty of this story is, now I know that something's wrong. I'm going, okay, wait a minute. I just had someone talking in my head. And so coincidentally, the profession I was, the normie profession I was in complemented my entire upbringing through the Secret Space Program, Secret Soldiers. They did make me a soldier too. They do have video of me murdering all sorts of people, as you call it, a Manchurian candidate. And they had me do it with my technology of knowing. So they abducted my special powers, and I could wipe out a field of people if they wanted me to, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life, of course. But knowing full well it wasn't 100% me. In any event, that's what they'll use against me if I ever came out and went public with this. Oh, I guess we are. Haha. Anyway. What was fascinating at the concurrence of this, recognizing that I've been implanted and all my thoughts were not mine for all those years because of the CIA implants and the programming of Mr. Pavlik. What I was able to do is I recognized it. My body started rejecting the implants, and so the first biological implant came out my nose, and so it looked a little bit like. I would say like a tiny worm, almost like a maggot, a very small maggot. Forgive the description. And then the original implant, which was given to me in the hospital when I was born, it was actually given to my mother, and then she digests it, and then of course the baby gets it. So it's quite interesting technology. So I was born with the implant from the get-go, decades ago, by the way. So that implant came out of my tailbone. So I'm sitting in the career I was in, which complemented my industrial military abduction. Let's just say I was a contractor for the military. I had to sit a lot and do process engineering and so forth. And that implant grew, my body made this huge boil right on my tailbone. So of course you can't sit on it. And so I go to the doctor, and the doctor says, whoa, let's get this out of there. Hey, do you want to look what I found? And so I did keep it for a while, and I realized, and I was going to tattle on everybody, and I said, these programs are designed so I can't tattle. So I ended up throwing it away. But and then anyway, the soul overlay, this is how we'll lead into the Q posts. The soul overlay was the trickiest one because that industrial program still exists today. So if you're getting transient thoughts in your head, don't be surprised after today that you start recognizing them more, because the harmonics of my voice is going to implement more tools for you. And again, this is how the light works. This is how Source works. I'm actually raising your frequency by me communicating with you. This is how we designed Ascension. So the more I get talking, the more I can transmit to you. That's why we don't need very many of us down here, because Source is paying great attention to this place. I am from Source, and so now your light is growing just like me. So you can go on every mountain and pray to all sorts of gods and stones. You don't have a choice in raising your frequency if I'm here. That's how it works. The the fun part about this story and the bad part about this story is I now have 2 implants removed, and my spiritual awakening process is exploding. And it took many years for me to get my memories back. And I'm starting to vet everything. I'm like, okay, got it. So, I know I know I'm a couple hundred years old at this point, even though I'm in a body of a 50-year-old. And I know I've got one more implant, but I don't know how it works. And it's remote, and it's got a combination of scalar. It's got a combination of hyperbolic radio, and they can change it and they can triangulate it. And they have a mesh network. Even decades ago, they have a mesh network to send thoughts into your head that aren't yours. The aliens have it. The CIA have it, which is one and the same. They all can transmit a frequency into your head and of thoughts that aren't yours. Because the normal state of being for a spirit is neutral peace. So if you're not in peace energy and you can't stop thinking, that's not you. I'm sorry to inform, and I'm sorry to ruin the party. But if you cannot stop thinking, there's your clue. I did not say creating something isn't good or bad. I'm saying consciousness is before thought. Observing thinking is what I'm suggesting, and knowing that's how they're abducting us redundantly to steer society. And all you have to do is turn on this computer and you can see how they do it. And that's how I wanted to marry it to the conversation of you very quickly. Now, this last implant is very important because I know it's there, but I can't figure out how to get rid of it, even though I can go to remote places. I see how they're doing it, but I can't shake it off. So I'm able to take my consciousness. I can go to the telecommunications place. They had the device. I can go even to another frequency, another dimension, and look back here, and I can see exactly how it works, but I can't shake it off. It's like it's a flea I can't get off. So I started searching out the most psychic people on the planet. All the greatest psychics. I'm looking for a Simon Parks, a Carrie Cassidy. Let's see, I'm looking for Alexandra Meters, again, someone who got abducted because she worked with me. I find Max Steele, Special Forces. He had the Arcturian technology, the harmonic frequency removal healing kits that, believe it or not, I sent him before I come into this lifetime. So I was able to go backwards in time and give him something for my future. And we laugh about it again. I used to time travel with you. Yeah. So anyway, so I know it sounds fantastic, but it's very easy for me to time travel. I don't like the word time travel. Knowing travel, if you will, knowing a coordinate, so I can take my consciousness and I can put it somewhere else, and I can share consciousness with other beings. This is fairly normal when you're attached to source dramatically. All right. So I basically saved myself, is what I'm saying, from all these implants. But I had to go experience it. But it's funny how they're playing with time. They know I'm coming into this system. They know I'm coming into the ascension process, and they gave me tremendous roadblocks. Is really what I'm doing my best to explain today. There's vastly more, but that's at least a good body of material. How good they are at managing us before we get here. So I'm fortunate and unfortunate. I had to go through all the tortures, but I'm fortunate at least I got to see them and then fix the problem, and I can do that for many different reasons. But at the end of the day, I will never ever control free will, ever. And it's my great passion to always live that way, participating with you all, yes. But never will I use my abilities to control the outcome of someone else, because I've learned the hard way. I have changed the color of a traffic light in my favor. And recognizing I destroyed someone else's day because they got a red light and I got a green light. I will never do that. And we all have these abilities, by the way. Now let's talk about the Q post so we can get some final resolution, I hope, on this. So
thank you.
The reason we use the letter Q is that is the first letter of my full spirit name, my first life in individuality. Got to be careful because I have shared space with other individuals, so to speak. As an example, Ron Amatron was the healer with me 2,000 years ago, but he didn't stay with me the entire time, and vice versa. I didn't stay in the vessel 2,000 years ago 100% of the time because I'm a catalyst. As you can see, I come and make things happen. I turn over rocks. That's my passion. I like to make things go. And Ron is an example. He loved healing. When I do healings, he does come and help and support me. And he's no longer with us because he did his time in a big way. And I know he's been on BBS, and I'm very proud of him. And he took some knocks for sure. The Q post looked like this. Everyone should get real comfortable with the technology you're common with and how it marries with the gateway, the portal technology that's used to transmit and receive consciousness from you to and from source. If I put a lie detector anode on every person on the planet, what do you think I would receive? I would receive everyone's thoughts, lies. Well, that's all the Q posts really are, is everything you're doing right now on the computer, every thought you have, every desire that gets manifested is being transmitted to source, because you're a light being. Okay. And we use the creation light chip. What it's able to do is just bounce it right back to you. But so it's a higher dimensional vessel that is directly from source. And I've taken many people up, and since we've been doing these talks, and that is my validation. So we've come around your universe, come around your solar system, especially this area, because it's the ascension cycle. And this is a tool to help. So it does not work unless there's a being here from source continuously. So that's why I say the ascension process happens when for lack of a better term, source shows up. That's me. That's Ron Amatron. That's Princess Diana. That's Buddha. That we're transient. You're the special ones, I guarantee you. So we show up, and this is a natural event, ascension. It's to recalibrate and reconfigure your light body back to your home planet in most cases, or move on someplace else. But it's fantastic in this case, it's fantastic to see all of you are going to go from 10% to 100% in a split of a second and go, oh my gosh, how did I fall for that? So we will talk about that after I define the Q post. The Q post were given to some special families that looks like people are figuring out who they were back in the early 60s, mid 60s, when a very special person was killed. And that special person was one of our hotshots we brought down here, and a genetic match for receiving more light. And their family made it to very prominent positions in American government. And their family has a genetic lineage that is a very special to receiving more light body in them. And there was more than one family, but I think we know who we're talking about. And what's special about those events is they could see the capability of the gateway. We'll call it the Q gateway, because they had a portion of all of our light transmitting. Okay, but they needed a light being here for it to work 100%. So you've heard of maybe topics like Project Looking Glass, things like that. Mm-hmm. They had at least that much capability of seeing the future based on our decision-making process day in and day out. And of course, the post tense of this is they gave everybody iPhones, and they're still doing their best to do it. So you're also seeing people like many people have computers that can predict the future because of all of the extrapolation of data they have. Maybe Cliff High or several economists have them, and they predict the future because of our decision making is done a lot on these computers. In any event, up until 2017, they don't see any real predictive information as a whole until my beloved Max Steel removes the last implant off of my skull. So as soon as that overlay was taken off, there were 3 of us. Originally, there was 5 of us. Ron being one of them. We won't count Princess Di because she was passed away by then. But there was 5 of us, and all the other 4 all got captured by the dark. So I'm the only one who is not in the dark right now. But the other 2, what we did is we shared light. We dispatched 2 more light beings to replace the 3 that couldn't make it or are still captured by the dark. So now there's a total of 3 of us. And the abilities we have now is to be a receiver. One's a receiver, one's a transmitter, one's a ground. And you do it in 3s like that, just like a conduit, so that you have the anchor point of the reception of source, and then you have the ground to hold us here, and you have the receiver to get the source in here, and then you have the transmitter, and you can guess which one I am. And so as long as we're transmitting continually to and from source as source, that's how it worked. It should be really easy that's the best I can do to explain it in the English language, is you're just now getting more light in a region of a universe. And so now you're going to get more of your light. And you all actually designed it that way for the recalibration, reconfiguring of yourself. This was all your design, by the way, our design. It's the natural course of ascension, is to get in, grow our light, and make a decision. Okay.